Lexoide's ShortCast number 1. The Beauty of Perseverance. Light up your inner spark, let the best of you flow in all directions. I assure you, although it seems difficult at times, there will always be something good inside of you, leading you to a better future. Be welcome, I'm Lexoide, your host in this audio space. I start to make this shortcast, from short and podcast, that means a short podcast, with the intention of lifting up your mood, giving you something nice to think about. Beauty is not only in the eye of the beholder, but also beauty just is. Feel it, my friend, feel your beauty and the nature surrounding you. I'm gonna share a personal example of finding the beauty. A year ago or so, I traveled to my neighbor country, Argentina. I was working 24/7 as a street magician, a tiresome job but also a really rewarding experience. I assure you. Now one day, traveling around and knowing new places, I ended up in Neuquén, a very prosperous city in the southwest of Argentina, close to the Andes. I remember the first day in the city. I was so tired, my backpack was hurting my shoulders, and I really needed to sleep. The only reference that I had to anything related to my work in the city was a simple recommendation from a stranger that I met at the bus station in the morning. He told me a magician was running a restaurant. I thought, cool, and went my way. So I explored the place, learned where the hype was, saw some awesome pubs and clubs that were of course closed at that time, and went to the hostel. Oh friends, the gentle touch of a well-made bed. Every time I travel, I'm thankful for that. But a tired body, a tired mind, and lots of things to do, all combined in one package, was like a recipe for a bad mood. Got out of the shower without shaving, just going to sleep, but a thought stopped me from doing so. Is it right to sleep now without at least doing something that could make my day better? So with a very bad mood and tired eyes, I went to have a walk to the downtown. And there it was, a corner, an entire corner in which a very big brewery stood out in between the rest of the businesses. I just entered. I asked to talk to the manager, showed some of my tricks to the employees, and that was a call for success. Manager was not still there, so I had to wait until the afternoon. Walking out of the brewery, I saw a great future at that moment. Wasn't I going to sleep at some point? But yet there was more work to do. I then met the owner of the restaurant, a very respected magician and owner of his own magic school, which added a lot about the efforts of getting the show done, how to get the respect and the good feedback of customers, and some chit-chat about our friends in the business. Good chit-chat, if I may add. So after a nice beer, he told me, "Would be nice of you to gather with the students and share your experience. My students are really clever and nice people." Thankful for the conversation, I said goodbye and made my way. 5 p.m. and still no sleep, but a little lecture was planned and I had a meeting with the brewery's manager going on soon. One of my strengths, and I really want to point this out because it is really nice skill when well used, is that I always go forward with my professional decisions no matter what. So I don't know how, but I wasn't sleepy anymore. I entered the brewery, introduced myself to the manager, and in half an hour I was arranging a $300 gig for the weekend, which in times of currency devaluation in the south is a nice bunch. Not only that, there were awesome news. Because that weekend there was going to be live music on the streets, they had to close the street. That meant a lot of people was going to enjoy my close-up magic. Happy with the gig and my perseverance, I said goodbye after the short business meeting. I worked the night a little bit at some other pubs, returned to the hostel, and had a wonderful sleep that night. At the next day, I met the students of the magic school. One of the guys had trouble speaking and wanted to travel the world to overcome his limitations with magic. Another student was focused on technology and different ways to improve levitations through the use of electronic and magnetic devices. There was also a student who wished to use his magic for humanitarian purposes and charitable purposes. And the last guy only had fun with magic but also wanted to train his close-up skills for earning cash. It was a dream team of future minds in magic, and I'm thankful that we had like 4 or 5 hours to delve deep into our experiences, and I also could freely share my results as a traveling magician. I taught them my skills, talked to them about the possible outcomes and future of their magic, and a really nice group of friends was made that afternoon. After the magical meeting, I went to the streets to perform with some of the students, and it was an awesome experience. Later that night, doing my work on the tables of a fancy cafe, an idea struck my mind in the middle of my performance. It was imperative to change the terms of the gig. I was going to do the gig, but I wanted to give the students a nice experience to have with them for the future. So I rearranged the gig. I talked to the manager. Hey, if the street's gonna be closed and there's gonna be that amount of people, then it means I could get exhausted by performing for them so many hours. I can do so, but I have a better solution. I know some students of a magic school. The owner accepted the offer. For an entire weekend, 4 days each night, the students and I shared the budget of the gig, and some of them had their very first experience performing table close-up in a professional environment. They learned the intricacies of communication with the customers and had lots of fun. Also, they earned some bucks. People were happy to see their tricks, and I had to add, the students really boosted up their confidence after an intense weekend of work. The owner of the brewery also had lots of fun and ended up asking us for magic tricks almost all the night. We had so much fun. We performed for approximately 300 customers in the course of the weekend, if my memory works well, of course. After the gig was done, I made myself sure that the brewery would feed us well and asked for the best beers and food. I of course made myself sure through my skills that the food would not be deduced from the total budget. That was the real magic of the day, eating like kings that night, celebrating the future of these students, happy to have earned some cash and being able to share the earnings with hard-working magical people. After the gig was done, I said farewell and took a cab to the bus station. While waiting for my bus to come, I thought about all the things that happened that weekend. Not only the gig and the magic school lecture, but also all the fun I had in that city for such a short amount of time. Also, I learned so much knowledge and wisdom about the life. Once on the road, I looked through the window, smiled, and a question flew to my mind. What if I had decided to sleep instead of going out for a walk in the city that morning when I arrived in Neuquén? I didn't want to think, just wanted to think, and so I slept happily. This was the beauty of perseverance, a personal account that reminds me and potentially can help you remember that perseverance, persistence, going forward with your highest goals must be always a priority. And it also brings awesome results in everyday life. Light up your inner spark, let the best of you flow in all directions. I assure you, although it seems difficult at times, there will always be something good inside of you, leading you to a better future. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time. Bye.